Hey guys, so for this video, I wanted to talk about Olive Undertones, but what I'm actually going to do is re-upload, or it's going to be a re-upload of a video I did 4 years ago. I can't believe time flew since then, but it talks about, what Olive Undertones are, how I've come to know that I have Olive Undertones, and my frustrations with companies either not making Olive Undertones for their foundations or not making enough shades. So I felt like it was important because I had it on my former channel and I felt like it was important to have it on this channel as well. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, you learned something from it, or it's helpful, and stay tuned. Hey everyone, Beauty Infatuated here. In this video, I wanted to talk about Olive Undertones. And if any of you have Olive Undertones, you will very much so relate to this video because it is a struggle in terms of the makeup world. What is Olive Undertones? Well, as we know, everybody has an undertone, and usually they are like yellow or pink or red or blue or neutral, but there is a certain sector of human beings that have a greenish cast, which is what olive undertones are. It's somebody that has a greenish cast or green tint in their skin. So a lot of people confuse undertones with depth, meaning how light or how dark you are. So they say like olive skin as if it's like a separate skin color, and it's not. It's an undertone. So you can be pale with olive undertones and you can be very dark skinned with olive undertones. And people usually think that olive undertones are people who fall in the medium section of the global shade range, and that's not true. It has nothing to do with how light or dark you are. So I also want to mention that it doesn't have anything to do with your ethnicity or race. I know people usually say, oh, only like people from the Mediterranean area of the world has olive undertones, or only East Indian or other Asian groups or Latinos. Not true. People of any ethnic group can have this undertone. Racially, I'm black. I have olive undertones, and it also depends on like what type of olive skin you have. There's some of us who have warm olive skin, which I do. Some have cool olive skin, which tend to have like the green undertones really come out. And then we have the neutral olives who have more of, I'll say, like a grayish color to their skin. So it's not just one, there isn't even just one type of olive. There's different types of olives as well. And speaking as a warm olive, we have to wear foundation shades that have more like, they're either golden or yellow, but it has to have that green tint to it. If not, it's going to look orange, it's going to look pink, or peach. It's just gonna be wrong. So, and we have to like be quite specific too with that. But anybody, even if you're cool or neutral, you can understand you have the same struggle. So when did I realize I had olive skin? Well, when I started my makeup journey, for the lack of a better word, I really didn't wear much foundation, but when I was finally interested in wearing foundation, I kept being matched to, I started with MAC. So I kept being matched to NC45. First of all, I'm trusting the makeup artist or the sales associate that they know what they're doing. But I think they just look at my skin and see that it's warm. So automatically in their minds they think NC45, oh, she has yellow in her skin. But it's like they ignore that I have more of a green tint to my skin. So it's like, but that's like the go-to shade anyway. Any of you ladies know who are my depth and darker will always match to NC45 or NW45. It's like, really, not all black girls are just those two black shades, or those two shades, excuse me. And I couldn't I really didn't have a lot of knowledge with like color theory and stuff like that. So I didn't understand why
a lot of the foundations that I was matched to was like, it gave me like an orange look, and I would even see it in pictures. Like my face would look very warm, but then my neck would have this like yellow green color, and I was just like, okay, like why can't I find a match? Like why does this keep happening? And it didn't matter what brand, Bobbi Brown, Makeup Forever back in the day, not with the 40 shade range that they have now. Oh gosh, NARS. Like there's just so many different brands that I tried, and it just was not killing it. And forget drugstore. You're lucky if you find a shade dark enough for your skin tone. Usually it'll stop at my depth, and which is absolutely ridiculous, but then it'll end up being like too pink or too orange, whatever. So I didn't even bother. Like even to this day, I usually stick with higher end foundations for that reason, because I know that I have more of a chance of finding you know, a shade that will match me, even though it's still a little bit of a challenge. But you know, I didn't even bother with drugstore. So one day, I can't even remember what year it was, probably four years ago. It was actually at the makeup show. When you go to the Makeup Forever boutique, they also honor the makeup show discount. So I, with another group of blogger friends, went there, and I didn't even plan to like buy foundation, but I ended up buying foundation anyway. And what happened was, it was the Face and Body foundation. Now at the boutique, they can custom blend your shade, which is great, and it costs the same amount as if you're buying the regular foundation. So or one shade. So the makeup artist, she matched me. I mean, she, you know, looked at my skin and matched me, and I end up being 75% of the shade number 34, which is like a golden beige, and 25% of number 18, which is an olive shade. So, and those two together with that particular amount, it was perfect. And I was just like, okay, finally I have a match. But that's when I noticed, like, okay, I have like a different undertone, not the typical undertone that, you know, women of my race, ethnicity are matched to. I'm not your typical warm, you know, girl. And even at a makeup class, I went to a makeup artistry class one year. That was about maybe 3 years ago. I realized that I have more like a yellow green undertone, even though it has warmth to it. So that's when it like really clicked. I was like, okay, that's why nothing matches me, because I'm being matched to things that the undertone does not match my complexion. It doesn't match my undertone. And even during that class, the makeup artistry class, I took by Kevin James Bennett, we were at the section where we had to do demos on each other. So when it was my turn to be the model, like we were broken up into twos. So when it was my turn, she, you know, matched me to like whatever she had in her kit, and she was like, whoa, you are really olive. Like even like the colors that were more yellow, they didn't match me. Because for some reason makeup companies, they think yellow means orange, and I'm just like, I don't know who's doing the color fairy shades with, clearly not makeup artists, because it doesn't make sense. So but yeah, she was like trying to match me. She was like so uncomfortable with how it looked on my face. Like she was just like, oh my god, you're really olive, you know. And even when I went to go get matched for a Fenty foundation back in September, the makeup artist who was stationed for that brand, she was like, okay, this is too peach, that's too orange, this is, you know, blah blah blah. And then she matched me to 290, which is actually too light, but the olive undertones, that's the olive shade. It is correct, she was correct, but the depth was wrong. But she was like, you have a beautiful olive tone, that's why, you know, all the other shades were too orange, too whatever, you know, a mess. So but yeah, that's when I pretty much realized that I had olive undertones. And because I'm aware of that, I'm not out there buying every foundation anymore like how I used to. like every new release, because I have to check out the shade range first and I have to see swatches. If I see there's too much orange in there, I can't do it. And I'm tired of mixing, and because it can get costly. I mean, I pretty much accepted the fact that I will have to be mixing for the rest of my life unless companies really step up their game. But at this point right now, I have to, you know, I mean, I have found good shades now. I found very decent shades, but especially the one I'm wearing right now. But it's gonna be a struggle until companies really get it together, and they really do need to get together. I mean, I've worn, oh my goodness, Too Faced, the you know, their foundation, Born This Way. I think like Golden was too pink, and one was like too neutral. And with MAC, like the Face and Body foundations, like those were my best matches in that foundation. But then like if I wanted to try the powder, the C6 was too pink. I was just like, what the hell is this? And the C is supposed to be the olive range in the MAC foundations, but some of the shades were too pink. I was just like, what? You know, and then with NARS, Tahoe, unless I'm a certain depth, it's not gonna match me. Even if it's the right depth, it's still, it's a caramel undertone, so that means there's gonna be some red in there, and I don't have any red on my skin, so that looks a little bit orange on me. So I would have to either mix that with Stromboli, or, you know, add a blue adjuster, because, you know, blue makes a warm shade olive undertone. Color Theory. And this is what I use. I use Makeup Forever's, but other brands make it too, like Temp 2. If you want to go the cream route, you can use RCMA. I mean, there's endless options. But you know, the fact that we even have to do that as a regular consumer, if you're a makeup artist, you'll be mixing all the time. That's no big deal. But if you're a consumer, that can be costly. So, you know, it's annoying. But I find with most companies, they either provide like only 2 olive shades or 1, and it's usually in the medium part of the global range, or they don't provide it at all. Or, you know, even when you read the descriptions of the shades, like they'll say, oh, this is for olive or golden undertones, but then when you swatch it, it's not like what it's described to be. And I'm just like, okay. Like, for example, the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. I noticed that there were some olive shades that were being provided, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a really huge step. Like, that's a really good step. But again, there's still some room, you know? And like I said, like a lot of the foundation companies, they stop at the medium range, or they only provide for the medium range. When I say medium, I mean like, if we were to use the MAC foundation chart, I would say like no darker than NC40. So I don't know, what people call medium is iffy, because I've seen magazines call Jennifer Aniston medium, and I'm like, are you serious? So what's dark if she's medium? Okay, you can tell who wrote the articles, so I don't even have to go there, you already know. But they usually stop right there, and that's why so many of the world gets ignored. I mean, it shouldn't even stop with my complexion. Like I said in my previous video about the Backstage Face and Body Foundation by Dior. This is the darkest shade in the olive range, and that's, I mean, like I said, I applaud them for providing the shades for olive undertones, but hey, what about the dark skinned girls that have olive undertones? They exist. It might not be common, but they exist, and there needs to be options for them, you know? It's hard enough for dark skinned women to even find a shade to match them, but then just imagine the olive undertone dark skinned girls. Like, it's 20 times harder. So it's like, you know what, we need to really get with the program. I mean, there are, like I said, there are brands that do have it. Like, you probably find it in more professional brands like RCMA, Cinema Secrets. I know Cinema Secrets has an actual like 5-shade palette for olive undertones, so check that out. And it's not expensive. Let's see, what are the brands? RCMA, Cinema Secrets, Joe Blasco. Makeup Forever does have olive shades now. Really good formulations. The brand EX1 Cosmetics, that brand is specifically for gold, yellow, and olive skin. So if you're, and it's a drugstore brand in the UK, but you can buy it if you're like an American. You either get it from Look Fantastic on the website, internet, or you can get it at ASOS. So this is what it looks like. This is the company. So it's really nice that they came out with those shades. Stellar Beauty, that's another company that is, it's really for medium skin tones, but they have such a wide variety of undertones. Like, she understands, Monica Dio, who is the owner of it, she understands the nuances of medium to deep skin tones. So that's why there's so much a focus on that. Let's see, Fenty Beauty, they have, I've seen Olive Undertones being able to wear multiple shades, but there are only 2 actual Olive Undertone shades, which is 290 and 360. And I'm actually wearing 360 right now. For some reason, when I was lighter, obviously it was too dark, but I noticed that there was like a pink cast. I don't know what that was about. That was just really weird, but I'm looking at the mirror right now and it matches me the most, like, and it's supposed to be like a neutral olive. So like I said, I'm a warm olive. I do have, like, I can also be described as neutral to warm undertones, but I have to have that green in it, because if I don't, it's gonna ain't gonna look right. So, but like I said, the 360, it does match me. I'm satisfied with how this looks. So I'm happy that I went back to it, because that was the first shade that I purchased when Fenty Beauty debuted, and it was too dark, and that was my biggest problem. It was too dark, but I did see the olive in there, but there was like a little weird pink cast. I didn't know what that was about, but anyway, I'm back to wearing it now, and it's a great match because I have tanned quite a bit from going to the beach. And that's another thing about olive skin. We tan so quickly. Like, we can be out. It could be a lunch break, and you decide to eat your lunch on a bench in a park or on a promenade or something, and your skin will darken just from that, like, what, 30 minutes or 45 minutes. It's amazing. So I don't know. It's just really crazy how you know, skin color works and melanin. But not saying that we can't burn, because I think if you stay out in the sun too long, I mean, that's a given. So there are companies that are like stepping up to the plate more, but I still feel like there is so much room left. Like, there needs to be like a real change, because it's just annoying. It's annoying. We do exist. I'm beginning to think that the people in the boardroom who are making these shades, they don't really have a good knowledge of color theory, and they don't have much exposure to people other than themselves. That's why so many people get left out in foundation shade ranges. I mean, is it really that hard to add green to a pigment? I don't understand. Like, what is so difficult about this, you know? I know it takes effort, but I mean, if you want to make money, you claim to care about your customers or people, why not put in that extra effort? I mean, and I don't even buy that, to be honest. You can put in effort for other shades, but not shades who are deeper or more, you know, rich or whatever. Come on, it's time to step up to the plate. Like, somebody has to do it. And like I said, there are companies that have done it. I've listed them: EX1, Stellar Beauty, Fenty, NARS. They actually have, well, their new shade range has better olive shades, I'll say that. Originally there was only Stromboli, and I know some girls can wear like the paler shades, like it works for them, but the actual olive shade was Stromboli. So I mean, there needs to be like olive shades in each depth, like pale, light, medium, tan, dark, and then deep. I don't know why that seems to be such a hard thing, but it is, because it still doesn't exist. Even in August 2018, we're still mixing foundation shades. We're still adding foundation adjusters. Like this should not be. And I know that every company is not going to cater to every single skin tone. I know that. But it's like, even at the most basic level, it's like you can't throw in like 5. You know what I'm saying? It's like one, like I said, one for each depth. I don't know. But all you olive girls out there, I feel you. I feel you. Most of the time, like when I'm looking at YouTube videos, I mean, I look at videos of many different women of many different undertones and depths, but I usually, like, I like to look at videos of women who are, you know, East Asian, like Indian, because I find that my undertones and their undertones are similar. So I know if that's their match, I can most likely find a match with them. But, and I know that there are other black girls like me because I've seen them myself. So I'm just like, you know, maybe if I make a video like this, it would help, you know, other black girls or other nationalities, ethnic groups, whatever. They'll be able to have some faith that they'll find something for their skin tone. Because some of us, and I mean all olive undertones, don't even wear foundation for that reason, because we can't find anything for our skin tone. So, and that's sad. Like, even, like I said, even to this day, that is still an issue. It should not be, you know. And now that we're in the 40, you know, shades range, now there's even less of an excuse. So, I mean, they're getting it right in terms of the depth, but now we have to pay attention to the nuances. And we can't just keep doing peach, orange, pink, you know. And then when you wear neutral foundations, which I find some neutral shades work for me too, but the neutral shades, many of the time, they're too pink, and I'm just like, I'm tired. But yeah, I just wanted to do a video about this because I feel like it's an issue that is valid and it needs to be talked about. So if any of you can relate, you know, comment, you know, or if you had any questions on like what I've done to, you know, rectify the situation or whatever. Sometimes even yellow powder is why I have to, you know, offset the warmth in my face. I have to do that too. But yeah, if you have any, like, you know, just want to make a comment about it, you know, comment below, and also subscribe to my channel. So thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for the future ones. Bye.